I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Hello, you guys. Welcome back to the Dare Me episode 10, Shock and Awe. You guys, this episode was insane. It was crazy. We have Beth. She's doing her own investigations. Collette is still manipulating Addy. And did Coach, what the heck is going on with Coach and her husband? Like, I don't even know where to start with that. But then after that, we're going to do a little special segment. We have news and gossip, and of course, our predictions. But my name is Ebone Chatman, and I'm going to be your host tonight, along with my co-host, Ashmin, who is always here with the hot digs for Dare Me. How are you doing?
I'm so good. I am on such an adrenaline from this episode right now. Seriously, this entire season has been good, but the finale, this is the first time that I'm left just on such an adrenaline.
Right?
What just went down?
It's literally like an adrenaline rush, a high. My brain hasn't even processed the full episode yet. It was so intense. The way they ended the scene with with Coach and her husband, which we will totally get to. You guys, my mind is blown. Ashmin, was there any other thoughts that you had to conclude it?
So many thoughts. We see what we saw in the end, right? That was a big reveal amongst itself. But I feel like we can lead into that point, and we can just jump into Collette still manipulating Addy.
Exactly. What exactly is going on with Coach and Addy? This episode, we really see Addy struggling. She's, Beth is kind of pushing her more and more. She sees, Beth talking to Kurt. She sees, she tries to confront Coach. Coach isn't really trying to listen to anything she has to say. So Addy's really on her own. She's struggling. She needs to keep her mom at bay, needs to keep everyone, unsuspicious, really. And it's starting to weigh on her, and you're starting to see that. What did you think about Addy in this episode?
I totally agree. She's totally struggling because she has Beth on one side, who's been her long-term girlfriend, that's really showing that I have your back, wake up, Addy, this Coach is nothing but a taker and she's setting you up. So I think we really see that Addy struggling between Collette constantly saying that Beth is brainwashing you and you need to grow up from her. So Addy is in the middle. She knows she's being set up, but she's like, who do I listen to?
Right.
I have my longtime girl saying, Addy, you need to wake up. This Coach is completely sketch. And then you have Collette, who continues to turn her back on Addy, but is also saying, oh, this is coming from Beth, and you need to cut her loose. But the thing is, Addy is the one that's being set up here.
Right. I think she definitely she's confused, right? So in the beginning of the episode, we see Addy talking to Coach about the investigation, and she's trying to get more information. And I kind of felt, from the sense of it, when it first started, I was kind of like, maybe they didn't do it. Maybe they weren't there beforehand. I literally wrote in my notes, don't seem to know if there was someone there before them. Because they made it sound like, or at least Addy did, maybe someone was in the house before we got there, right? So I was like, oh, okay, well then maybe they didn't do that. Then who did it, right? And then I thought it was interesting that Coach was telling Addy not to say anything, saying that in a way she makes it sound like she was trying to protect her, right? So Coach was talking to Addy and was like, don't worry about it. I'm going to protect, basically saying I'm going to protect you. I was like, who's the adult here? Is it Coach or is it Addy? Because Addy's like, we should go to the police. We should tell them. We should let them know what is going on. And Coach is like, well, I wouldn't want to see you go through that and your mom. And I wouldn't want you to have to deal with that with her. And I wouldn't want you to go through the investigation and get questioned. Yeah. So it almost felt like she was almost taking the guilt and being misplacing it, if that makes sense.
And I feel like that's the manipulation we've seen all season long from Collette. And I think the interesting twist is, and where I think Addy is going to be smart enough to start picking up now, is when Addy says, there's no crime in finding a dead body. She's almost looking at her
right.
You're making this a way bigger deal than what it is.
Right.
All we did was come into this situation. And I think Addy's catching on. Why is Collette hiding out? And she's totally using her, brainwashing her to say, oh, you know, I don't want you to go through interrogation and everything that's going to happen. And I think Addie is a smart girl. Like, at the end of the day, she's like, yeah, but we didn't do anything wrong.
Right.
And that's why we see her push her more and more this episode for, like, you brought me into this. Like, you need to give me answers. But, guys, I think, like, Collette is totally sketch. I mean, like, she's covering herself.
Oh, 100%.
100%.
I mean, I feel like we've talked about this before in like past episodes where we were kind of like, we think Coach is going to sell her out. Like, at the end of the day, she's going to sell her down the river because she's selfish and would only protect herself. And I think right now in this scene, I kind of felt, I still was feeling that way. Like, Coach is setting Addy up to be like, don't worry about it, I'm going to take care of it.
Yeah.
And then kind of be like, oh, here, like, I'm going to throw you to the police, like, if something were to come down, which I thought was very, like, weird. And speaking of the police, right, we have this scene where the police are, you know, kind of walking on campus, they're around more often, they're questioning students, and then they go to Colette's house. And so they're talking to Collette, and they're like, oh, like, we know your little mishap that happened last Tuesday. And I'm thinking, uh-oh. They know. They saw the cameras. I mean, they were wearing hoodies when they left, but still, they catch everything, right? Like, he was very, like, evasive. Like, maybe he knew something. And then he was like, oh, yeah, when he ran into the pole.
Totally.
I was like, wait.
We're like, really? Okay, it's going back to that. But I think that scene was still super important, right? Because she was so scared. Like, she was terrified that obviously the crime had to be bigger than just running into a pole, right? Like, her reaction, her body language, everything. And then Matt comes into the room and he's just as, you know, frightened as she is. And their body language spoke so much to me in that scene. And for me, that was kind of my first clue of, like, why are they both behaving like this? Like, prior to what we seen at the end of the episode, but that was kind of like a giveaway scene right there.
Yeah, and I thought it was interesting because I remember last episode when I said, wow, Matt's so weird. He came into the house so weird.
Yeah. We were like, where has he been?
Where has he been? Well, now I think we've figured it out. Where have you been, mister?
Yes.
Like, okay, right? Using your business trip as an alibi. Okay, that's what really was going on. But I think she's a very smart criminal, though, right? Because she didn't crack under pressure, nor did she say anything, which I thought was very interesting because I feel like if someone's being interrogated by the police, like, I don't know what I would do. I've never been in that situation, you know, knock on wood. But, like, I feel like I'd be nervous. I'd be like, oh no, they know everything. Like, should I just tell them? Like, I'd be freaking out. And so I might have given myself up because I'd be like, they already know.
Yeah.
So the fact that she didn't say anything, she kind of stayed calm. You could tell she was nervous, but, like, calm and didn't say anything. I was like, okay, Collette, like, maybe we might be getting away with this. Like, maybe
she was waiting to hear. She was like, well, I mean, because her body language was already saying so much. Absolutely.
Like, wait until they tell you something. Don't say anything before that.
Exactly.
I thought that was interesting. And then to bring it back to Beth, I felt like Beth, right? Her and her dad have this, like, really interesting relationship. And so when they're talking in his office and he's like, oh, like, Coach really got you there, putting you on top. And even the mom, when she has that conversation with her mom is like, oh, Coach is really, you know, putting you back on top where you belong, right? And I feel like, you know, Beth's immediate reaction was like, I did that. I didn't need her help. Like, this was all me. I didn't need her. I thought that was interesting because I think it, like, brings back to her disposition in the show, right? Like, her character, because it's showing that she is troubled. It's also showing that she wants to be independent, be known, or be given credit for her own worth. And I feel like she doesn't feel seen by her parents. What did you think about that?
I totally agree with you. I think that's a big part of her struggle is not being seen, right? Like, she's like, everyone's giving credit to this coach, but I did it. Like, that's me. Like, how come nobody is seeing that I put in the work, I'm capable of that, I'm on top for a reason? And I think she's constantly kind of battling that with both of her parents. We see the sarcasm in the beginning of the episode between her and her mom. Like, they have such a you know, they have such a almost like a passive aggressive relationship, like who's going to take what role today. And then with her dad, you know, it's always a wallet thing. Like she's like, no, I got what I need, and he's constantly trying to compensate because of his own regrets.
Right. And I think that she also has that same complex with Addy, right?
Right.
Where she's always like struggling to be like, look at me. I'm the one who's protecting you. I'm the one who has your back. I'm the one who's, you know, been here for you.
It keeps playing out in different scenarios in her life.
And no one is really trusting her or leaning on her, and I think she feels that and knows that. So I think that's where she also comes back with a vengeance, right? So we see this at the end of the episode when she's talking to Addy, and she's like, when are you going to wake up? Like, I'm the one that's been there for you. Like, you really think that she's going to have your back? You really think that she's going to be the one to, you know, like, to be there for you when really she's the one that's setting you up, really is what Addy was saying, or what Beth was saying. And, you know, I thought it was, so Beth goes into the apartment, right?
Yes.
Okay, so let's talk about Beth.
Can we talk about the hallway scene,
The hallway
please?
scene with the sassy grandma. She was so sassy.
She knew a lot.
Because last episode, she wasn't really saying anything much to the police. Like, oh, I don't know. Maybe I saw something. Maybe I didn't, right? And then this episode, we see more of her personality. I really like this character. Yeah. So Beth is in the hallway. She's like looking. She goes into the apartment. First of all, Miss Thing, are you not destroying evidence? Like, that's what I'm trying to figure out.
Or are you inserting yourself in evidence? Stay away from the crime scene.
Right. Like maybe now you've left behind something that you need to not be doing. So she goes there and she looks like she found something, and you're like, okay, what's going on? And then she comes back out. She talks to the grandma, and the grandma's basically like, I think serial killers did it, and I think it was a Marine.
Yeah.
Which kind of is like, interesting. How did Beth know that Kurtz was in that model apartment? How did she know that?
I don't know.
Anyone in our live chat know?
Does anyone know about that scene? I mean, because I agree.
Did we miss something?
I mean, I feel like when she's seen that sign for the remodeled apartment, it like brought some type of flashback to her.
Yes.
I don't know if she's seen it before, because when she looks at the door, she kind of touches her neck, and that was some indication of, I don't know, maybe it was a flashback she's seen in his car or something like that. But she somehow happened to know that he was behind those closed doors.
Which is crazy to me, because then in the next scene, right, when she goes and confronts Kurtz at school, she was like, I know you don't live there. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, but how, so then if you know he doesn't live there, then how did you know that he was behind that door? Like, how did you know that? Is there anyone in our chat saying anything exciting?
I mean, I don't think anyone has an idea of how he knew or she knew he lived there, but everyone has a similar question about the bracelet.
Right.
Like, that hamster bracelet. How, because none of us seen that when she went inside Will's apartment.
Right.
Was that like, is that an indicator of something she saw and found and hasn't been revealed?
Yeah, well, see, that's the thing, right? So my interpretation of that entire scene was the fact that when Beth goes to Addy and is telling her, like, your bracelet, it's gone. It's not with her anymore, and something that they found at the crime scene, right? I'm assuming that when we see Beth in that original scene, Beth found it then, and now she's just revealing it to us now that, like, it was actually in the crime scene in the apartment.
But that's the thing, right? Like, it leaves all of us with just an assumption, right? Because none of us actually seen that. So it's like, was it planted? Was it ever there? Is she just heightening the curiosity around now, where's this bracelet?
To maybe try to get Addy to say something and slip, because Addy's still denying it.
She's still staying quiet
about it. You know, I'm
it.
proud of her. I thought she was going to sing like a canary. I mean, she almost slipped out last episode, but she's keeping it together this episode.
Like, she's stressing, but she's not revealing. She hasn't concluded yet. And I want to touch on the grandma as well, though, like the old lady in the hallway.
Yeah.
Because she starts identifying in her own way. Like, she said that she's seen Collette there. Like, we knew it, but she's like, oh, that blonde that was here a few times. And I think what this episode is really building up to, there's going to be a lot of witnesses that are going to end up becoming involved in this case. Because now the grandma knows this stuff too.
Right, because everyone's keeping their eye out. Like, people that you probably didn't think were watching you are watching you.
And rule of thumb, right? Like, you never know what's happening in your area, who's around, who's watching. So
people are nosy.
Yeah.
People are nosy, and people really are always keeping their eyes open for something. So don't do anything crazy.
You know what? Courtney Davis in our chat says Kurtz took Beth there to his apartment there.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so that's, but I thought she was saying that he didn't live there, which makes me think that he lived at those other apartments that they originally had the party at when apparently like.
That's what I also thought, but that kind of would bring clarity to that scene when Beth confronts Kurtz and she's like, you said you wouldn't bring me there because the walls were too thin. And she's like, I did scream and nobody heard me.
Okay.
So that would tie into that. Thank you, Courtney. That makes sense.
That does make sense.
And you know what? I'm really happy that Beth confronted Kurtz. You know, even whatever happened in that incident, but we seen like her flashbacks and the problems she went through this episode. And it's always important when you can also stand up for yourself. And she was avoiding him for a long time. And then it was great to see her kind of take her power back and say, hey, we have unfinished business. I need to say something to you. And she did. So, you know, right on for that, even in her own healing of how she needed to confront him.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's very important. And I love that scene because she's like kind of threatening him to kind of be like, well, if you don't say anything, I'm going to say something. So either, you know, fess up or shut up, you know?
Yeah.
So I thought that was interesting. And then Coach is now talking to Addy's mom. Okay, because Addy has now told Coach, like, oh, my mom's on the case. She's investigating the case. So Coach, of course, is going to go talk to Addy's mom and try to convince her otherwise that, you know, to take the heat off her. Like, oh, I saw, you know, there was weird things going on with Kurtz, and puts it on Kurtz.
Yeah.
Poor Kurtz. What do you think? Like, how do you think Kurtz right now is feeling with everyone kind of like putting it all on him? Like, he's having Beth confront him about whatever he did that he says he doesn't remember because he was too drunk. And now we have Kurtz being picked up by the police at the game. Yeah.
I mean, I think he's in the hot seat, and I think he's going to be there for a while. I think I had said this last week. I'm like, you know, he's going to end up becoming a suspect because, one, he had that whole fighting scene with Sergeant Will, which they show. So he already has a motive and is a suspect. Now we have him living in that building where he's not even supposed to be living, but he was behind those closed doors. So it's like, what did he see? Then Collette approaches Addy's mom and points out that he was one of the soldiers that was hitting on one of his girls. So I think, you know, he has a lot of heat coming to him from a lot of different directions. So he better stand by his truth and tell the truth because, you know, he got a lot of bullets coming for him.
Absolutely. I think he's looking like the number one suspect.
Yeah.
I think he's the one with the most motive. I think he's an easy, what do they call it? Like the person that's easy to get. Oh my gosh, why can I not think right now? The scapegoat.
Yeah.
That's what I was trying to get. I think he's the easy scapegoat because, like you said, he has a lot of things going on for him right now. Yeah. So that is very interesting. But I'm going to have Ashmin look through our live chat. But while she's looking at that, I just want to say thank you so much for joining us and watching us. Thank you so much for making us the ESPN of TV Talk. We love to talk about our opinions. The show is crazy, but we also have other TV shows that are going on with reality and dramas. So please continue to subscribe and tune in. Please comment below and like our video. Share our video. If you are unable to watch, you can always listen to us on Spotify and on iTunes. And make sure you give us that 5-star rating. Okay, do we have anyone?
We have so many people chatting in our live chat.
How many people do we have in the live chat right now?
So we have 56 people watching right now.
Thank you guys
we love
so
you
much.
guys. Thank you. And you know, we all have so much controversy. Like there's different. You know, here's the thing. It was the finale, but so much did not come to a final end. Right? Like this story is so. It's
still wide open.
Yeah, it's wide open. So it's like right now how we just discussed the whole. Did Beth ever go to the apartment? We have somebody else in our live chat that says AfterBuzz. No, he never did take her to the apartment. So we kind of really don't know because we didn't actually see it happen, just like with the bracelet.
Right.
Yes, it's being alluded to, but did it actually happen? So,
Right.
and then, of course, we have people saying, well, Kurt says he was at the bar. Hopefully he has an alibi. Somebody else is like, Kurt is going to get played like a fiddle. So,
Right.
I mean, I think at this point, everyone needs to start saving themselves, beginning with Addy, because look at the shoes. The mom found the shoes.
You guys, what did I say? What was my prediction last week? Okay, I said that Addy's mom was about to find that bag of shoes. I knew it. Like she was going to be cleaning.
Yeah.
She was going to happen to come upon it, which she did.
That was it. The mom got the shoes.
I'm stressed.
Yeah. So now so we know the mom got the shoes. There might be her bracelet that's left at the scene. And Collette, I mean, she's so sketch. Obviously, the one that's guilty is the one that's going to try to cover her tracks. She walks up to Addy's mom, like you said, tries to spark up this conversation. It's not about Addy. She's like, what else do you know about this case? Right? Like and I think she's going to give herself away because she's inserting herself now. She's making herself known to more pieces in this murder. And Addy's checking up on her now, like, look at the end scene. She's like, I need you to come outside. She turned off the lights on her.
Right.
Right? Drags her into this murder.
And left her in the cold.
In the dark. And she says that in the end, too. She's like, don't listen to your heart. Like, she was open, listening, believing this whole time. And then in the end, she totally shuts her out.
Yeah. And at the end of the episode, we find out that Matt and Collette were actually the ones that killed Will.
Well,
we don't really know. That's alleged. Okay, I'm over here throwing out conclusions of my own, but they do allude to the fact that they were there in the apartment before she called Addy. So my question is this: if Matt was there with Collette before she called Addy, why did she call Addy? Because at first I almost thought, oh my gosh, the bracelet, she left it there on purpose. She's setting Addy up. That's why she called her. But then at the end, she was like, we have to find the bracelet. And they're both looking through the house for the bracelet because I'm assuming that they're trying to protect Addy. They don't want Addy to go down for this case, right? So now I'm like, but why call Addy? So now I'm still on the question is like, why we called Addy.
Okay. So I totally get your theory. Mine is a little bit different, right?
Yes.
This is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking Collette went to go see Will. I don't know if they got it on per se, but I'm thinking Matt may have been on to the affair.
So followed her?
And followed her. Maybe he showed up there and, I don't know, like maybe there was a team effort in taking Will down, or maybe Matt lost it. And, somehow we do know that they collaborated in this murder if it was by them. The question is, was Matt there first and then Collette was there? Like, did Matt go there, beat her to Will's, kill him, and by the time Coach arrived there, he was already dead? Or was Collette already there and then Matt showed up? Because Addy does say, were you there beforehand? Why was your hair wet? I mean, it could indicate that they got it on and she took a shower and that's why her hair was wet.
See, I kind of think that they were both there. They both killed him.
Yeah.
And she took a shower because there was blood on her. So that's my take on this. I guess we're not going to find out in another season. But
I think they're plotting against Addy. I think that's why they made the call to Addy, is to frame her. Why else would they insert Addy?
That's what I'm saying. But then why are you searching for the bracelet so hard if you weren't trying to frame her?
Well, that part threw me off too, because I thought that maybe Matt had dropped the bracelet there to already frame her. But the way that they were rummaging through all their clothes and baggage, they were like, how is that there? So I don't know.
Like, is there someone in the live chat that has any other theories?
I mean, everyone's saying to set her up, Addy finally realizes Coach did her dirty, but no. Yeah. Right? I mean, there's so much more to still find out about this.
There's so much more. This season was absolutely insane. Yes. We thank you guys so much for riding with us this entire season. It's been growing and amazing. But, I mean, that was pretty much it. I mean, I'm excited to see. We need more. I need more. Do you need more?
Absolutely. Like I said, I mean, it was a finale, but it was far from the final.
Ooh.
Far from the final.
Far from the final.
Yeah.
Well, you guys, let's move into some of our other segments that we have for the show. So let's get into our little special segment, which is trivia. Ashmin, take it away.
Absolutely. Guys, let's talk about the music that we had in season 1. Like, Jeremy had such an awesome soundtrack, and I thought we'd learn a little bit about the music that was played throughout our episodes.
Okay, are you guys ready? Are you guys ready for these
And we're going to learn
questions?
about our characters, so it's going to be awesome.
Okay.
So in addition to being an actress on the show, who is also a musician who got their music featured on the show? A, Marlo Kelly, who plays Beth. B, Horizon Guardiola, who plays Addy, or C, Allison Thornton, who plays Tacy.
You're saying whose song is in the show?
Right. She's like, simplify.
I'm gonna go with B, Horizon.
B, Horizon. Anybody in our chat want to take a stab at it? Whose music was played on the show? Okay, we got Addy, Horizon.
Yes, my Horizon.
We're going to say it's Horizon, guys.
Yay!
She is also a musician in addition to being an actress.
I love that.
Yeah. So let's find out the name of her song.
Okay.
All right. We have 3 different songs that were played, or there was many, but out of the 3, A, Troublemaker, B, Adore, or C, Cut Your Bangs. Which song is by Horizon Guardiola?
Cut Your Bangs. I really want to say A. I don't know why.
A, Troublemaker?
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, good job, everyone in the chat. We got a lot of people that said Horizon, which was correct. What do we think the name of her song is? Troublemaker, Adore, or Cut Your Bangs? Troublemaker, Troublemaker, Troublemaker. Troublemaker is correct.
Oh my gosh. See, you guys come to the winning team. Do you see me with my guessing? They're so great. My guessing are so
Good job. Good
Woo, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, was that it for the trivia?
That's it for the
You guys,
trivia.
That was so good. If you guys continue to like our videos and our questions, please click like. We love to see those likes on our video. And then now we're going to get into a little news and gossip.
AfterBuzz TV News.
Yes.
Okay, guys, the main news is that what we all want to know is there going to be a season 2? As promised last week, I said I would follow up this week. I've been digging through all these different sites, and so USA has not officially confirmed a Dare Me season 2 yet. But the chances are looking really good because of the ratings, because of the coverage this show has actually gotten. Like, it's been doing really, really well. So we haven't had an official confirmation yet, but it is rumored if it does return, it might be not until January 2021. Which I know seems very, very far, but it can be sooner. But I just wanted to tie in some type of date if the show is renewed and when we could expect to see more.
Where do we sign the petition to get this show together by like August?
Yeah.
Okay,
Well,
because I need to know.
Yeah, and you know what? USA and the Dare Me AfterBuzz Network, they've actually liked our stuff on Instagram. So if they are tuning into this episode, know you have us and a bunch of fans that are waiting for season 2 to be renewed.
Yes, it's so exciting. I love this show.
Yeah.
Honestly, I feel like at first I was like, oh, like, okay, this is like interesting. It's a little like quirky, but I am invested, you guys. I'm invested.
The last season has me.
Totally.
The episode 10, it got me. Like I want to know.
I want to know more. I want to know
We
more.
need to know.
We deserve to know. Okay, you guys. So now we're going to get into some predictions.
Your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Okay, so honestly, I feel like Ashmin and I have definitely kind of expressed our position on our predictions already, but to just get into it a little deeper, I really feel like season 2, if there's a season 2, right, I feel like Addy, Coach, and Kurtz are going to be on the chopping block. And I feel like someone needs to be wrongfully convicted of something so that we could have like a case. You know what I'm saying? We need trials. So I think Kurtz is going to trial. I think Addy's going to trial. And I think Coach is going to go to trial. And I think season 2 will be all about the trial cases of like who killed Will.
Yes. Similar prediction. We're gonna see the case pan out. We're gonna get more suspects. We're gonna get more witnesses. And I think we're gonna see interesting dynamics. I think Addy's mom is gonna pull her out and say, "What's going on? I need to know everything. The shoes are here," and really try to protect her, but protect her in the way of like, you didn't do anything wrong. All you did was walk into a dead body. So I think Addy's mom is going to take care of her daughter and do her best to be like, you need to trust me. If you're confused about who to trust, you need to trust me, and we need to straighten this stuff out.
Oh, so you think Addy's mom's going to be a ride or die and kind of get her daughter out of this? Because she's a police officer, so she's privy to all the information that they have for the case. So like low-key, she could kind of do a little trickery and kind of get her out of it, to be honest.
But I think in the right way, because initially Addy didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah,
right?
But now you're hiding and evading.
Right, but I think she might be like, we need to make this confession because you just showed up at the scene. You're not a part of the scene.
But now you're an accomplice. So either way, at this point, if she were to confess, she's still getting time or probation or whatever.
Well, at least the case hasn't opened up that much yet, so she hasn't been withholding evidence. You know what I mean? It just barely turned into a murder, a suicide to a murder. So season 2 may kick off with really digging into more, and maybe she won't be as accountable as if we see in later stages of the discovery. We'll see.
I don't know, because I'm just like, okay, if you turned the suicide into a murder, right? Now, how long now all of a sudden the whole time that it's been a suicide, technically it's now going to be considered like the murder time. So now this whole month that you've been holding on to this information, like you knew and you didn't come forward. She might get a lighter sentence for confessing.
A lighter sentence? Ebone's already putting her in jail.
She's in jail. She's going to jail. Oh my gosh. Well, you guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Is there anyone else in the live chat that wants to weigh in?
Let's see, you guys. Any conclusions do you want me to read off? No, we're all still talking about the bracelet. If things go sideways, there better be a season 2. Kurtz is probably in big trouble for the murder, right. But he should be in trouble for what he did to Beth. So I mean,
ooh, that might come out too.
Yeah. It's all gonna come out.
I love this. You guys, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Ashmin, where can they find you on social media?
Yes, you guys, before I do that, thank you so much for rocking with us all season long. It's been such a pleasure, and it's been wonderful on behalf of me and my co-host that's been here. You can find me at Insights by Ash, and I look forward to continuing chatting with you guys.
Yes, thank you guys so much. This season has been so fun. Thank you, Ashmin, for writing this out with me all the way to episode 10. Thank Taylor and Tyra for also being there with us throughout this season. You can find me on Instagram at Ebone Chatman 12, as well on Twitter. We hope to see you again for season 2. You guys have a great night.
Bye, guys.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.